Welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, ETNA's special initiative that celebrates the undying entrepreneurial spirit of micro, small and medium enterprises. Here's what we have lined up on the show for you tonight. On Insight, we bring you a conversation with Rento Mojo. And on Bright Sparks tonight, we're featuring Sasha's chocolate bouquets and InClove on a Valentine's Day special. How often have you wished that there was an easier way to move furniture when you're moving house, or wished it were easier to buy furniture and appliances when you're moving home or cities? Rento Mojo was set up to solve exactly that problem. I caught up with the founder to understand how this model works and what tips he can give our MSME viewers. Take a look. Let's start by discussing what led to the setting up of Rento Mojo.
Started in 2014. Out of a 3 BHK, we were three of us, who started off, made the, I started off in December 2014. For the first 1 month, I practically delivered the first 35 orders myself. I was the one who was getting the market, consumers onto the platform, delivering it. So saw all the nuances till the first 35, 40 consumers is when I started looking outside for help, which is when my partner, co-founder Ajay joined, and now from there in 2014 to now we are kind of 4 partners. And a very strong team of around 300 folks, those who are driving this. But possibly in post December, within the first 3 to 4 months, is when we really identified what we're doing, because before that it was really a challenge about how to really find the product and market fit and get the prototype up and running, because what we were doing was we were essentially buying most of the inventory and putting it out in the market.
Talk to us about the market and how the market is possibly growing. Are you largely selling to urban clients, and if yes, how do you really try and broad base an idea such as yours?
India has always been an income-constrained nation. We have 1.3 billion population, but only about 25 to 30 million out of them, those who are part of the e-commerce transactions today. And that's kind of scary, because there's only about a 3% out of the total population which is over and above of 12 lakhs annual income. Only about a 3%. For the rest of the crowd, they don't have a lot of capital to keep investing in all these heavy expensive products like furniture, appliances and bikes. And we wanted to bring out a fintech solution. So the only we wanted to bring out a fintech solution for all these guys and probably give access to all these products at lucrative, affordable rentals, and they'll have the flexibility to just close the contract whenever they want, which probably a EMI doesn't do it today. So when you start looking at our solution from that lens, it's not just an urban, kind of a crowd that we are looking at. Of course, the low-hanging fruits today are the people, those who are the working population staying in various different cities, and that also is because of the fact that we are present in the first 8 cities.
Definitely are in a very different, unique space. But maybe you can talk to us about how you've gone about identifying and solidifying your USP, and also your advice to our viewers then about how they can possibly and should possibly develop a USP and sustain it.
So the USP comes in 3 forms. One, A, as a business, that we as a company go out and raise capital on a daily basis to fund these assets. B, we have the economies of scales to actually eliminate most of the retail margin which is present outside. Probably a wardrobe in the market can be for about 10,000 rupees, which we procure at 6,000, and pass on that benefit of 4,000 rupees in the form of better lucrative rentals to the user and better returns for the people, those who are providing this financing. Now C, what we are building is not 1-day, 2-day rentals. Anybody who's outside today giving a 1-day, 2-day rental, the consumer outside doesn't have an incentive to go longer tenures with him. We actually want to facilitate longer tenures so that you can enjoy the benefits of lower rentals as you commit higher with us. Now that kind of layered tenure is not present anywhere.
We talk very often here on the Leaders of Tomorrow about fundraising. That seems to be the #1 concern for MSMEs and entrepreneurs across the board. So maybe I can ask you to talk about your own fundraising. I noticed you raised funds mid of last year. What was that experience like, and what advice do you have for our viewers based on your experience about how they can possibly go about raising funds?
So I think fundraising in its essence is always correlates to two different things. I mean, you need to have a good market with a lot of depth, and secondly, a great team to execute into that kind of a market and capture it. So these are, if these fundamentals are strong, I don't think funding is going to be that tough, because I think there's always a backers for good products with good unit economics, good transactional metrics today, and I think there's enough funds available in the market, and I think it's a growing economy with the whole Aadhaar base and demonetization and so on and so forth. The economy will only grow from here, of course. I mean, with a bit of an initial pitfall, but in the longer term, India as a market has a huge potential, and I think fundraise is not going to be such a challenge.
An interesting thing that I notice about your business is that you don't own any of the appliances or furniture. Why is that? Can you talk us through that? And also, can you talk us through whether this model of not having any capex in that sense can be used in other industries as well?
It will be very difficult to scale with owning most of these inventories, and specifically I think in the initial days of the market creation, it will be very difficult for us to own most of these inventory and still focus on creating the growth and the demand for the products to also come up and build that infra to actually facilitate that demand. So I think that's why we don't own most of these products, and that's why we work as a quasi bank, take the financing and deploy and keep on passing the returns back to the financial institutions. Subscription as a theory can be applied to various different asset classes, and today we started off with furniture, appliances, now we have bikes, we have yet another category which is on the way and we'll be launching in a couple of months, and we won't stop there, because our perspective is we see a distant future where a consumer will pay, let's say, around 5,000, 10,000, max to max at 12, 13,000 out of his monthly income, and he'll have the access to all the products and services that constitutes their lifestyle. What
has been your biggest challenge as well as your biggest opportunity as an entrepreneur?
The biggest challenges, or the one thing that I'm learning at this stage, momentarily, I would say, building the right culture so that most of the teams in various different cities unite and work towards the same goal and mission, and they find value and meaning in it to actually deliver is a constant challenge that I think most of the CEOs, founders, or entrepreneurs will be put out to, in this. This challenge will be thrown at them. I think that's one of the biggest challenge that we have. As a business, of course, I think what we see as the biggest challenge in the business is creating the right awareness for this kind of industry. I mean, it's very new. People don't really understand renting as an option is there. So I think we're as a business, we are really going out and constantly trying out various different methods to create the right awareness with the lowest budgets possible.
So if there's one piece of advice that's changed your thinking, what would that be?
One piece of advice that I got was the mindset change that happens. My last two ventures failed because I saw a failure at the end of the day. When Rent to Mojo started, this time at least the mindset was different. No matter what, we'll go out and try and find a solution irrespective of the circumstances. And I think that mindset change or of making sure that you don't have a fallback option. There's no safe, there's no safety net that you have that you can, fall back on. Most of the people, there's a lot of people out there, those who keep thinking that, okay, I want to action upon this market opportunity and, let me be in the job and, subsequently start doing this in parallel. But at the end of the day, that's the safety net that you have of the comfortness of your job and all that is going to restrict you to, go outside, take an extra mile and still solve it. I mean, when even in the hardest of the days, solve it and go that and run that extra mile.
Time for a break. When we come back, we'll feature Sasha's chocolate bouquets and Enclave on a Valentine's Day special. Back with us here on the Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight we're featuring two companies as part of our Valentine's Day special, Sasha's chocolate bouquets and Enclave. It's Valentine's Day and love is in the air, and nothing quite says I love you like a box of chocolates or a bouquet of flowers. But combining both is Mumbai-based Sasha's chocolate bouquets, Pooja Jain attended the company's exclusive chocolate bouquet making workshop to sample how straddling both the decor as well as the dessert market is made for a winning confectionery combo. Take a look.
Presenting chocolate in the form of a flower bouquet is Sasha's Chocolate Bouquets. The intricately designed arrangements have quickly gained ground as a unique gifting option in that they appeal to both the eye and the appetite. Founder and CEO Sajid Attarwala shared his insights on how putting a modern twist on the most traditional products has proven to be a winning strategy to capturing the heart and mind of the customer.
There's no denying that the market is incredibly saturated when it comes to both chocolate and to flower bouquets. And yet you've managed to circumvent that whole scenario by designing chocolate bouquets. Tell us more. How did this idea even come to life?
Around 14-15 years back, I used to design for my families and friends, and I was more into creative things and all. So they liked the way I design. And one fine day, my wife said, "Why don't you make a career out of it?" And I was a bit apprehensive about it, and I was not sure actually whether it will be accepted in the market or not. Because say around 14-15 years back, when you say somebody that you're going to present a chocolate bouquet, they would be like, shocked, what exactly it's going to be. So this is how it started, and here I am now.
These chocolate bouquets are incredibly modern in their look and feel, and yet the craftsmanship behind the effort is highly traditional. So how do you strike a balance between the two?
When I started making chocolate bouquets for my clients for the market, I wanted my bouquet to be very unique. I didn't want it to be the regular kind of a bouquet or a flower bouquet which we get in the market. So for that, I needed a good team of professional handicraft paper flower making craftsmen. For that, I had to travel a lot all over India, because this is the very old Indian art which I wanted to revive it again in a form of a chocolate bouquet. So after a long journey, I am here with a very good team of craftsmen who are very good in the art, and they make paper flowers, they make flowers out of cloth, out of net, and you name it and they'll make it. We ask clients, like, you can show a picture of what flower you want, and we make it out of paper, and they get a little astonished after the complete product is ready, and they are master in their work.
Now, these chocolate bouquets are incredibly unique in that they're not just edible, but they're a decor item. So that said, how do you keep concepts fresh? How do you make sure that your designs are ultimately never repeated?
That is the USP of our bouquets, that these are not only chocolate bouquet eating which you eat it and just throw it away. You can keep it as a home decor for as long as you want. Plus, we use more than 20 varieties of chocolates in that. There are different shapes, there are different sizes according to the requirement of the client, like whatever range you want, we can design it according as per your requirements. All my clients, all my customers, they get a unique bouquet every time they order.
The DIY do-it-yourself craze is very real. How do you cater to that when it comes to curious clients who want to learn more about chocolate bouquet making?
I used to get calls, I used to get messages on social media and on my mobile numbers. Like, there were students who were eager to learn. But again, I was a bit apprehensive, like, whether I should go for it, whether I'm ready to, teach somebody. But some of my very, very good students and very loyal students, I must say, they insisted, like, they were ready to do it, they were ready to learn the art and all. And I wanted that art to, carry on for a very long period of time. So I started conducting workshops. Then I did demo sessions and, trade fairs all over India. Then I did it in Mauritius, I did it in Dubai. So there were many places. And now I think more than 500 to 600 students are all over India and all over the globe.
So these chocolate bouquets, of course, cater to occasions throughout the year. But Valentine's Day is, of course, the crown jewel. So what special do you have planned with Sasha's Chocolate Bouquets this season?
We have come up with a very unique and a different service, which I'm sure, like, nobody else in India, or for that matter around the world, would be doing it. The service is like, if you order a bouquet, we'll design it for you, you can have it, and say after a certain period of time, you want to refresh it or, rearrange it or, redesign it We are providing that service because I think like Valentine's Day is a day of love, to spread happiness, and this is our bit of spreading love and happiness to the world.
With a lean but loyal staff fulfilling orders from all over Mumbai, Sasha's Chocolate Bouquets is bending over backwards to meet customer demand. The extended shelf life of handmade flowers layered with delicious yet delicately wrapped chocolates has made for a cutting-edge combination. But per founder Sajid Attarwala, the growing gifting enterprise is perhaps best described as a labour of love.
While Valentine's Day may bring to your mind images of red heart-shaped balloons, mushy cards and elaborate bouquets, this Valentine's Day, we bring you the story of a young entrepreneur who's set to make the idea of love more inclusive. Shumangi Sinha caught up with the founder of InClove to bring you tips on creating a mark in an unexplored market. Take a look.
Every one of us, we all need love in our lives. It's just that we are not brave enough, we do not have enough confidence in ourselves, and sometimes we just hesitate too much, and I think it's time we need to come out of our shells.
एक बार क्या हुआ था, कोलकाता में एक बहुत ही फेमस बार है, वहाँ पे जब हम फ्रेंडशिप डे के टाइम पर गए थे तो उन्होंने मुझे एंट्री करने के लिए रोका, क्योंकि बोल रहे थे कि मतलब आप व्हीलचेयर पर हो तो आपको मतलब एंट्री नहीं मिल सकती है.
I'm searching for someone and hope for the best. I will find someone.
Nobody should be single unless they want to be. There are 125 million people with disability in India, and 2-year-old InClove is trying to make finding love more inclusive.
InClove is a matchmaking app for the differently abled. While this is not only a novel concept in India but across the world, what was the inspiration behind starting a venture like this?
InClove didn't start like it did. It was called Wanted Umbrella in 2014. It was a matchmaking agency, like an offline agency for people with disability. I thought people in Mumbai needed, people with disability in Mumbai needed a platform like this because, there weren't enough opportunities or access for them to look for a life partner. Their needs were different in terms of how the look for a life partner was a little more different, and a platform like this was very much needed. And so we started InClove. It's world's first matchmaking app focusing on people with disabilities and health disorders to find a life partner.
Do you think the Indian society is ready to accept an app like this and be able to use it freely without any social stigma or taboo?
Today it culminates to 2,800 matches. This wouldn't be possible if people thought this is a taboo or they didn't want to they had any inhibition. So in fact we thought people would not mention their disability and this information on the app, but you would be surprised. They've written thesis on what disability it is, how they lead their daily lives and everything, to make sure that the other person has complete knowledge before accepting who they are or before accepting their requests.
So while I understand that word of mouth is probably going to play a huge role, but what has your marketing and branding strategy been like so far?
So you'd be actually surprised to know we have 6,000 people on our community right now, but we've not spent any money on online marketing or actually PR as well. What we did spend all our efforts and marketing budget was on creating our own offline platform, which is where social spaces came into picture. So what we realized was people who were talking on our app were not meeting in person. And when I called a few of them and I asked what happened, why are you not going and meeting this person, the common response I got was, "Kahan jaun? Ya kisse milu?" So we decided to create these mini pocket meetups. So that ended up being our marketing strategy first, which is what we thought would, kind of connect us to the community, spread the word and stuff like that. And today, I'm very lucky or very proud to say that it's become a platform that's even generating revenues.
So like you just mentioned social spaces, what is the barrier that you're trying to break at this point in time? And do you think that this is probably a step forward for social exposure available to the differently abled?
When social spaces started as a concept, it was to bring people with disability out of their homes, and that's the vision our team still connects to. We are not saying you come to a social space and get married to somebody or share your biodata. What we are saying is come to social spaces, come out of your home on a weekend and try to meet new people, get to know as many people as possible.
Crowdfunded in 2015, the company aims to be a comprehensive global platform for interaction between differently abled people. Innovation has thus been of utmost importance at InClub.
Now, Kalyani, I understand it must be very difficult to optimize the app to suit the needs of your target audience. How have you been able to then tweak the user interface?
So what sets InClub apart is accessibility. What I mean by this is InClub is 100% accessible to people who are visually impaired. Each line of code is labeled in the backend, and because of Google Android now you have a talkback, so you can actually listen to the data and give your inputs without any dependency on friends or family members, for help. People with different other disabilities like hearing impaired, we very soon having a video calling feature where they could just call and use sign language to communicate. Every disability and impairment basically, which kind of hindrances your experience with the app, we've tried to smoothen it. We're not there yet 100%, but every day we're trying to improve accessibility so that more and more people could join this platform and this community.
InClub is a platform through which many differently abled people have been able to make friends, meet new people and interact freely. While this is definitely a strong cause, how important is revenue making for you in the scheme of things?
Yes, I think there's very little line between, and this is just my opinion, but very thin line between a social entrepreneur and an entrepreneur actually, and social entrepreneur is a subset of an entrepreneur. For the only difference probably would be that for us the ethos or the driving factor lies in the impact or the work we are doing, the solution that is coming to the table compared to what or how much it is generating. But at the same time, financial sustainability is the most important, irrespective of whatever type of entrepreneurship this is.
Bridging the gap in the matchmaking industry and challenging the mindsets of many, InClub has managed to play Cupid with Elan.
That wraps up this episode of The Leaders of Tomorrow, and we've brought you tips on how you can operate in the online furniture rental space. If you want to get in touch with us or have any feedback for us, you can write to us at leadersoftomorrowtimesgroup.com. You can reach me on Twitter using Sunanda_J. You can reach us on social media using the hashtag LOT, or call us on that number you see flashing on your screen. We promise to have all your questions answered. Thanks for watching. Have a good Valentine's Day.